Hey there fellow webmaster, I'm Christian from RackNerd, and in this video we're going to dive into an essential topic for anyone working with Docker container: how to migrate your Docker container to another server. It might sound a bit complex, but I promise you by the end of this video you will have a clearer understanding of what it means and how to do it step by step. Before we get started, be sure that you already have a new Ubuntu 22.04 VPS for your destination server, and you've also used our guide to back up your Docker containers using the extension Docker Backup on your origin server. If you haven't already, please check the relevant tutorials, which I will link in the description down below for you. Now, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So what exactly does it mean to migrate a Docker container to another server? Well, it is essentially the process of moving your Docker container along with all of its configurations and data from one server to another server. This can be an incredible tool for a various number of reasons. Firstly, when server maintenance or upgrades are required, container migration facilitates a non-disruptive transition. Containers can seamlessly be shifted to alternate servers, minimizing downtime and ensuring a smooth upgrade process. And in the unfortunate event of a server failure or unexpected issues, container migration also plays a crucial role in disaster recovery. It allows for a swift application recovery by swiftly transferring containers to backup servers or alternate data centers. Additionally, container migration aids in resource optimization by allowing containers to migrate to servers with available resources that align more closely with their requirements, thereby enhancing resource utilization. Finally, for applications needing a global presence, geographic distribution becomes achievable through container migration. Containers can be replicated and moved to server locations in different regions worldwide. This enhances geographical coverage and improves user experience across the globe. Now you may be wondering why you'd want to use container migration instead of simply redeploying your containers. Well, migration offers several advantages. It preserves your container's state, including data, networking, and configurations, making the transition seamless. Plus, it saves time and effort compared to setting up everything from scratch over and over again. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty here of how to migrate your Docker container to another server. Allow me to share my screen with you, and let's get started with the tutorial. All right, to get started, we need to set up a new WordPress Docker hosting for our destination server, along with a Docker Backup extension, which we will use for our restoration method. Please refer to our guide here on the channel if you are not familiar with this process. These are the tutorials that you would need to follow along. The first step is going through our video tutorial on how to install WordPress using Docker Compose with domain and SSL. You may also use the same Docker Compose file that you have used on your original or old server. Next is to go through setting up the Docker Backup extension on your new destination server, which you learned through our video tutorial how to back up and restore your Docker containers. Also, please back up your containers on your origin or old server using the Docker Backup extension app. As this will be the restoration method, we will use our new destination server later on. Next is to go through setting up the Docker Backup extension on your new destination server, which you learned through our video tutorial on how to back up and restore your Docker containers. Also, please back up your containers on your original or old server using the Docker Backup extension app, as this will be the restoration method that we will use to our new destination server later on. Once your destination server is ready, we're now ready to migrate or transfer our backup file from the origin or old server with the .tar extension using the SCP method, short for Secure Copy Protocol. But before that, let me show you what website container I am planning to transfer and the server it is hosted on. Here's my demo site, which is a niche website.pro domain, and the server IP is this. The site title is niche website pro-backup in all caps. With that said, we're expecting the same website domain and site title will be restored after our migration process, but on a different server IP. Also, let me share with you my new destination server IP address. Here you go. Now, to get started with the transfer of the backup files, please pay attention to your screen and follow along with me. First off, we need to log into our origin server using SSH and run the following commands. Make sure you replace the code with the appropriate details of your own server credentials and file location. Let me explain. The SCP stands for Secure Copy Protocol, which I mentioned earlier. The /root/docker-backup/wordpress-latest-wordpress-app.tar is your file location in your origin server, and then the root at 192.3.157.68 is the new server destination credentials, and the next context after it, which is the colon, which means the directive to the location of the said server, which is on the /root/docker-backup/wordpress-latest-wordpress-app.tar, which in our case is the same file location on our origin server. This can be different based on your use case though. When you run this, it will prompt you to confirm the access of the destination server, so simply type yes to confirm, and then you will be asked for the server password. Just provide the password of the server for your new destination server, and then the transfer should be complete in just a few seconds. So moving on, once the transfer is complete, we are now able to restore the backup file on our new server destination using the Docker backup extension method. To do this, log into your new server and execute the process, which will refer to the second video guide that I mentioned earlier, which is how to back up and restore your Docker container to restore your old container on the new destination server. And lastly, make sure that your domain's DNS is migrated successfully to the new server's IP. You may also refer to our recent tutorial about linking your domain to your server's IP, which is in our case, you will link your domain to the new server IP from the old server. Finally, it is time to check our result of our migration. Let's open up the same domain name on our server and check if the site title is the same. Also on the dnschecker.org website, if the server IP has been changed for the new IP address, which it did, so it's successfully migrated. And there you have it, you are now equipped with the knowledge of migrating a Docker container to another server, which is crucial when using Docker for hosting websites. It's a powerful skill to have, especially in a dynamic server environment. Just keep in mind that this method is applicable to migrating your other containers, such as the Nginx web server, MySQL, including phpMyAdmin if you're using it, and other containers available on your old server. Simply back them all up using the Docker backup extension and do the same process as mentioned in this video. Alright, so that wraps up our tutorial on how to migrate your Docker container to another server. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or want me to make another tutorial on how to automate this process with one line of code, feel free to leave a comment down below. It makes things a lot easier, as you can imagine. And remember to visit RackNerd.com for all your hosting and server needs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.